When we're playing with our very young infants from 0 to 12 months, we want to consider ways to engage their senses. That's how babies learn about their world, is through experiencing it through looking and seeing and hearing all of the wonderful sounds and even putting things in their mouths. That's one of the main ways babies can explore their world. So we want to make sure we provide mobiles that they could kick, that they can touch, rattles they can shake, toys that they're able to safely put in their mouth and have very interesting textures and shapes that they can explore. Mobiles are a great experience when they're close enough to a baby to let them touch it, under your supervision, of course. Babies are learning cause and effect. If they hit the mobile and it moves, they learn they can impact their environment. They learn when they shake the rattle that they can hear a sound. And these are all things that are helping the baby to learn about their world. Don't forget about books. Books are very helpful in the child's development. In the picture in the corner, we see an older baby reading or listening to a story that the parents are reading. But we can even read to our youngest infants. They appreciate the cuddle time that they have with their parents while they're being read to. They enjoy hearing the language and looking at the bright, colorful pictures. Board books are really good for babies as they're starting to reach out and want to turn the pages. And they could start to develop an interest in reading and a love of language and learning. Children are learning to communicate during this stage and really all the stages through gestures and facial expressions. We could see the little fella in the bottom. He's learning how to make a gesture that he's using to communicate with his caregiver. Bath time is a wonderful time for learning experiences and building language skills. We remember as we play with our babies, we want to narrate our actions and the baby's actions. You can name what they're doing. If your baby's crawling across the floor, you could say, "Oh, I see that you're crawling. You must be looking for something." And, kind of talk about all the things that they're touching and name the details about the item they have. If they're holding a teether, you can talk to them about how it feels bumpy. Does that taste bumpy? You feel the texture and those kinds of things. Babies love to imitate their parents. They enjoy the repetition of all the actions we might do with them. Peekaboo is a great game for this, to practice imitating. We might play peekaboo. They might actually choose to pull our hands away from our face, and so they are learning how to play the game with repeated actions. Songs and dance are helpful for children too, because they're learning about language during this experience, and they're starting to appreciate the closeness with their parents and really the joy that music can bring. During this stage, it's important for babies to get a certain amount of time a day on their tummies. Doctors and caregivers refer to this as tummy time. Different babies have a different level of tolerance for tummy time. I've heard of babies that can tolerate it for quite a while, and some that just can't tolerate it for barely a few minutes. You can help your child with this by giving them a toy such as a rattle, or to focus on, to play with, or to reach for. You can give them a non-breakable mirror so that they can explore the details of their face as they're spending that important time on their tummies. Remember, you're their most first and most favorite toy, so putting yourself down on the floor with them can definitely help them to enjoy their tummy time more. If you're making eye contact with your child and singing and smiling and talking, they can experience that. But tummy time really helps them to develop their trunk muscles and to gain their strength. They learn how to push up. They really can explore on the floor all the different ways that their body can move. So they're learning that they have control over their body, and they're learning how to move that body around space. babies who are 0 to 12 months are really engaged with the simplest of activities. And I can't stress enough that repetition is key in playing with these young babies. We might get bored with an activity, but it doesn't mean the baby is. Again, we need to be really watchful of those cues. If your baby starts to close their eyes or even get the hiccups, it might mean that they're shutting down and that they're overstimulated. They are done with the playtime. So, and playtime might end up being quite short at this stage, and that's okay. We have to follow the lead of our baby and make sure we're not overwhelming them. Sometimes parents will say, I thought we were having so much fun, and now the baby's crying. What did I do wrong? And really, there wasn't anything that went wrong. It's just the baby's done. And so it's important just to watch for our baby's cues, and eventually we know what our baby's tolerance levels are and really what the timing is for how long they're interested in certain play experiences. One of the fun ideas that I found, I have listed a bunch of resources at the end of these videos. The website 0to3.com provides so many different creative ideas and ways to play with our children. There's one article on that website in particular that offers up different ideas for each month of the year that kind of go along seasonally with the weather of the seasons and the holidays. One of the ideas I saw was to put your baby in their high chair and then give them some ice cubes. Sounds very simple, but they remark that you should notice the reaction of your baby. See how they respond to those slippery, cold objects. And this is a wonderful opportunity to introduce to them the word cold and to discuss how it feels and to experience that cold. This obviously wouldn't necessarily be a very long activity, but it's one that is a very interesting experience for a baby. It really applies to their senses. Another idea that I found was to collect a bunch of different kinds of fabrics around your house, maybe old clothes, scarves, and bring them out when you're having some floor time with your baby. You could talk about the different textures and have the baby touch the different fabrics. You could play peekaboo with the different fabrics and really use all that language that would support the different kinds of fabrics, bumpy and scratchy and soft and silky, that they can experience with you. They probably would enjoy touching them and maybe even rubbing their cheek along them. It's kind of a fun thing to do. One of the other ideas I saw was blowing bubbles, and it's so simple. It's the most obvious things that you would do with a baby this small, but bubble play is huge for infants. You can blow the bubbles, you can catch the bubbles, but the whole time you're doing this, you're narrating the experience. Babies, as they grow, may start to reach to pop the bubbles. You want to make sure you're using language like pop and bubbles. Even putting them in their high chair and giving them a chance to catch some of the bubbles that land on their tray or pop the bubbles that land on their tray. I saw another idea on the 0 to 3 website where you can put a little tiny bit of water with some dish soap. Of course, you're going to watch to make sure they don't eat the dish soap, of course, but and let them mix it up with their hands and make some bubbles and little tiny bubbles on their tray. See if they can explore that soapy water on their tray. And as you can see from these ideas, they're just the simplest things that you could do, but taking something of interest and really making it a language-rich experience and enjoying the world together with your child is really what you're aiming to do at this stage and really all of them. When your child is 12 to 24 months, they're becoming a very active infant. They have a lot more abilities. They can communicate better. They can stand. They may be starting to walk, run, jump, climb. They're going to love experiences that allow them to use these newfound abilities. They're going to need a safe area to practice these things. So we want to make sure that they have a good, safe area to do these things. Um, they're going to enjoy games like Ring Around the Rosie, London Bridge, all those oldies that we used to do. You can build an obstacle course for your child around the house in the winter or outside, so that they get a chance to climb and crawl. Crawling can't be expressed as any more important. Crawling is such an important activity. It really helps to build um, uh, bridges in their brain as they do those cross-body motions. They'll enjoy active toys they can push and pull. Ball play is huge. These are all very exciting experiences, and it's an exciting time to be playing with your infant. Remember, at this stage, your child's attention span is extremely short. So you want to make sure you give support as needed to avoid frustration, but not too much. You want to make sure that they're really leading the way, and you're allowing their preference to lead the play. Children enjoy experiences with filling and dumping. Summertime is great for this. We can have water play outside, as you see the little fella doing on the left. Taking the play outside is huge. Helping the children with the playground equipment, being able to climb and slide are all very good experiences for children. They enjoy the repetition that they get in their play. It provides them with a sense of security and control, and builds their self-confidence. So if they're using busy boxes, blocks that they can knock down, cups that they can fill and dump over and over again, all these simple activities are so fun for young ones. So we want to make sure we build these experiences into their day. Children at this stage really need time to explore their world. They need time to dance with music. They might enjoy playing instruments along with music. They're developing so much interest in how things work. They need that time to really figure things out. If the baby is playing with a jack-in-the-box, they're going to play with it again and again and again till they figure it out, and they really need that time. Your role as the parent is to stand by and narrate the actions that they're doing. You could narrate the Jack-in-the-Box experience by saying, when you turn the crank, what happens? Oh, there he is. There comes the clown. And you can keep narrating the experience as they go. They really experience language through their play as well. They enjoy the back and forth exchange of conversation. So when you're talking with your child and having a conversation, you want to make sure you pause and let them respond, even if their responses aren't that clear or are just real basic cooing. You want to make sure that you give your child a chance to respond, even before the real words have developed. Using a toy telephone is very fun for a young child. As a child is starting to develop these skills as well, they may begin to play with some peers. We may see them interested in chasing friends and laughing with them. It's important that we supervise and coach this as they begin to engage with their peers, so that they can learn how to share and take turns, so that we can model the appropriate language, such as my turn, your turn, and thank you, and things like that. During this stage, children might enjoy some fun activities that I found on the 0 to 3 website. You can put your child in their high chair again and give them a little bit of paint on a piece of paper, and then give them a toy car. And if they roll the car through the paint, they'll make a special car picture using the tires of the cars. You could build color trays by taking your muffin tins out and putting one object of the same color in each of the different cups. And think about the language that would be built from an experience with this as you talk about the objects and explore the objects in the tray. You could make a couple different trays for a couple different colors and have the children experience the colors that way. playing with our toddler is certainly an adventure. At this time, social skills are starting to really develop, so we may want to invite family or friends to play, set up some play dates, and remember that it takes time and practice, and especially parental guidance as children are learning how to share. They're moving from parallel play into that all-important cooperative play, and they're going to need a lot of support with this. During the toddler years, musical games are very popular. Things like freeze and hokey pokey really build listening skills and the ability to follow directions and to follow multiple step directions. Imaginative play are awesome experiences with our dramatic play, where children can make up stories and start to develop different rules for games and those kinds of things. We want to make sure we get our kids outside and get them moving and get them running and get them using those active routines. Children might develop a love of art during this phase. We can bring out the paper and the crayons, and remember, scribbling is okay and that's normal. We could show children how to draw lines and circles and let them create their own picture. Quiet play, of course, continues to be important. Experiences with books. Children might enjoy working with sand or mud even. Don't worry, children are washable. Play-Doh and free art. We're building so many language experiences as we do these things. Problem-solving skills, of course, continue to develop. Puzzles are fantastic for toddlers. And games such as memory. A great idea I found was to take 2 pictures of each family member and then use those as a game of memory with the children. And with your toddler, you can really talk about all the family's names and such during a memory game of this type. There are so many creative things that you can do with your toddler to enrich their play. Again, on the 0 to 3 website, I found quite a few ideas for enriching toddler play. One of them was to make a rainbow snack, and you can collect different healthy items that your child can put together, different colored items such as carrot sticks, blueberries, grapes, and have your child eat the rainbow snack and explore and talk about it and then decide which color is the best tasting color. Other things you could do are take your child outside on a nice day and get a big piece of paper and make a footprint painting. So if you can actually paint their feet and have them walk on this big piece of paper and make a beautiful painting using just their feet. One of the things I used to love doing with my toddlers outside was just simply by filling a bucket full of water and taking paintbrushes that are just covered with water and painting the sidewalk. And kids would do it for hours on end, and at the end of the day it dries, and they can do it again another day. And that's just great for building muscles and just a fun experience all around. You can cut out pictures of animals and get sets of 2 and see if your child can match the 2 that are the same. A good experience for dramatic play is to get a real big box and turn it into a barn, pretend it's a barn. You could even paint it to look like a barn, and then have your child pretend to be different animals coming in and out of the barn. It's a great dramatic play experience. Through all the stages of our child's development, we want to remember that play is a joyful experience. It really should be fun. It has a delicate balance. We want to make sure we give enough support without being too bossy, without taking over our child's play. We can present them with new choices when they're ready and new suggestions for pretend play when they're ready, but letting them lead all along the way and letting them decide when they want to repeat an activity. Remember, their attention may be short, but they also may be interested in repeating something long after we are. Remember, you make a difference. You want to join in with your child because this helps to build a loving relationship with your child. As you build beautiful beginnings with your child. Remember, you are building a lifelong learning for your child. You want to be spontaneous, relax, and most importantly, have fun. This concludes the third part of this series. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to check out these wonderful references. They will give you lots of background into the development of play and some interesting ideas that you might want to use with your infant or a toddler.